What
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Catfish Weekly.
How's it going?
Along with Lyle and our guest tonight, Austin from Fishin' Fever. I am Chad. Thank you guys and gals for joining us not once but twice tonight.
I appreciate that. 2 shows for me. That's awesome.
I think you now have the record for people on Catfish Weekly the most in one time.
I don't think so.
Mm.
No, I'm talking about in one day.
In one day.
Or should I say in 33 seconds?
Maybe in 33 seconds. Yeah, you might be able to get it that way.
Any old who. We got Nubby's catfishing. Let's try that again, Mark. Catfish and crappie. FOA Customs and Gear.
Hey,
Mr. Dave Funk. Joshua Parham. Miss V. Smith.
Hey, V.
The Weekend Angler. Thank you. I forgot about that. Member Mark from Catfish and Crappie. Member The Weekend Angler. I'm all thrown off now, guys. Brian B. Catfishing. Rowdy Royal. Goober Time Catfishing.
Hey, Dan.
922 Crappie Barbecue. Lance McCouguy. Schmeeder of the Cedar. Member Carolina Catfish. Fishing with Big Mike. Hooks and Hammocks. Randy Old Gray Hair Swain. Our buddy Sonny Parker. The other Parker Pursuits. Member Cool Cats Fishing. Catch Fish with Us. And Lyle done kicked himself out now.
Come on, man. You're making me look bad.
No, it's not you.
I didn't have anything to do with any of this, everybody.
No, you didn't.
Did somebody give Austin controls?
Never operated a computer before.
Yes. Let's say a happy belated birthday to our friend Mr. Lyle, who celebrated a birthday this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
it. Happy belated birthday, buddy.
I have heard, and it's not confirmed, that there's a congratulations, Lyle, in order.
For
the Guinness Book of World Records has contacted you. You have broken Methuselah's record.
Methuselah?
No, not the case.
That's a heck of a record.
Oh, man, that's funny stuff right there.
There you go. Sonny Parker says, Sweet 16
Sweet
Lyle.
16 Lyle.
Yeah, maybe a little more than that.
The spring chicken.
And I know Miss Jody had a birthday yesterday as well, so happy birthday to her. I seen if she's watching this stream, I know in the last stream she said she was going to be watching on the TV. So,
well, happy birthday, Jody.
You bet.
Talking about a rush. Oh my goodness.
That was a heck of a adrenaline rush.
That?
Do what?
How big is that?
Oh, that's a tanker.
It is.
Yeah, that's my Quaker, the tanker, the Quaker Steak and Lube mug.
Wow.
About 87 ounces.
That's totally all water, too.
Well, good for you.
Well, it's gin clear.
Dang healthy people.
I'm trying to get there, man.
Hey, D.
Hey, D, member for 41 months. Saying,
Woo.
Austin.
A long time.
What's up, Greg Burgess?
Hey, Greg.
Small Water Charters. Bugman 22. Could be straight vodka.
Some good people in here. Some good people.
A lot of good people. There's my buddy Sampy. I like that guy.
Hey, Sampy.
Even though you got to watch him. If you go to an event like CatCon or something, he sneaks up on you and he's like a little leprechaun.
Yeah, he snuck up on me too.
He scared me.
Yep.
I thought I was tripping over Josh's son, Chadwick James, and it turned out to be Sampy.
It's crazy how many people you meet at CatCon the first go around that, they're like, they come up to you and shake your hand. And it's like, man, I don't know who you are, and it's a subscriber. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty neat. Pretty neat. So Lyle, he begged me to have you on here tonight.
I know he did.
He's like one of your biggest fans.
He told me that.
And if I wouldn't have been rushing, I would have remembered to go grab my Fishing Fever hat. I forgot all about it.
You know, I forgot about it too until you just said something. You shouldn't have said something.
I know. I just saw it on your head. So
Yeah. Yep, got the Fishing Fever hat, got the before any of y'all knew me, the Fishing Fever old t-shirts and the mug. I'm all decked out tonight.
that's right. I like
Cool.
it. Remember for 8 months, LG Bass.
Thank you,
Hey,
Tom.
Tom.
So how long you been doing YouTube now, Air Austin? How long have you had the fever?
I've had the fever for a lot longer than I've had a YouTube channel, but I guess I've been doing YouTube for almost 3 years or something, between 2 and 3 years, something like that.
How many videos do you have out?
Ooh, I think total on the channel is like 500 something, but a lot of those are shorts. Like I don't have 500 something production videos, but which are my favorite to make.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know how many regular videos I have. Quite a few though, quite a few, and
What
it's
body of water do you fish most?
the James River. I started out fishing on the what we call the Upper James, which is above Richmond, where it's not tidal. It's kind of just a regular river. It's not nearly as big as the Mississippi, Missouri, or anything like that. But
Probably got more current.
Yeah, well, it flows in one direction, so it's a lot easier to fish. That's for sure. But the fish do not get quite as big up there. So I wanted to graduate from that and move on. You know,
That brings a question up to me about tidal water. I find it very intriguing since I've never been on tidal water, and I know it changes twice a day,
Yep.
and it depends on the moon phase and all that stuff. But
Yep.
how far up from the coast, up any body of water, does it affect that body of water? Say at James River, how many miles up there does the tide affect that body of water?
Dan would probably know the mileage. I don't know the mileage off the top of my head, but the tide on the James affects the river all the way up to Richmond, which is where the fall line is, which is the fall line is a fault. It's a tectonic plate right there. So the elevation of the land changes. It doesn't seem like a lot from the naked eye, but that's where the elevation of the land changes, and so it gets real rocky, and that's where a lot of rapids are, and the tide does not go past that.
I see.
The current from upstream coming all the way from the Appalachian Mountains is enough to fight the tide at that point.
Is there a place in there somewhere where there's zero? You know, we have current this way and current this way. Is there a zero spot like at them rapids or something?
At times there is. It's not a consistent all the time thing, but right there in Richmond, if you look at a map,
working on it. Calm down.
All right. But if you look at the map, it'll be right there by 95, where 95 goes through Richmond.
Okay.
Excuse me. But right there, yeah, we'll look at the map here.
So, just for reference.
Yeah, so you can see that's a pretty big distance, you know.
That's a wide river.
Yeah. When it gets down to and it down there towards the coast, I mean it looks wide, and it is. It's extremely wide, but it's deceiving because right there in the middle of your screen, where it says Hopewell, there, Chad.
Right here.
Yep. Yes, sir. If you zoom in on that river right there is extremely wide. When you get on that river, you know, in the wider parts or whatever, and look across it, it's very wide. It's intimidating on a boat like mine. I just have a little boat, and also, you know, you're out there. If you're out there and you've never been out there before, or you have very little experience, it's very deceiving because it looks like it's just a ton of water, but really the majority of that is extremely shallow.
Oh,
Where
really?
you will definitely lose a lower unit if you hit it too fast. Yeah, so
Well, I can see the
you
channel.
can
This is where you should stay. See the channels?
correct. Thank you, Chad. Yes, sir.
I can
Yep. So
teach you something. I can teach
that
you
would
some
be the
stuff also.
channel, and the majority of that, other than the channel, is only anywhere from anywhere from 6 inches to a couple
Oh,
feet or whatever.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that depends on the tide too. Like there's areas where you can go through at high tide, and you're not going to be able to go through at low tide. But just now you see where we were, right, and how wide the river is there, and then you compare that to further down river there towards the bay, and you can imagine how truthfully wide that really
Yeah,
is.
that's gotta
Yeah.
be really big here.
It's and then you get
That looks to be about a mile and a half, 2 miles wide. Like right through
yeah.
here is probably,
Oh, no problem.
yeah, it's about 2 miles,
Do
almost 2
they
miles wide.
Yeah.
how much big boat traffic is up there? I mean, cargo
Um,
boats and stuff.
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, well, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. For me, it feels like it's quite a bit, but I've never been on another commercial river, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. But
Well, what we have is barges out in
yeah,
the Midwest, and
yep,
I'm assuming that cargo ships from the ocean come up in that bay, don't they?
yeah, they do. They come up from the bay and they go all the way up to if you go back up on the map towards Richmond,
Yeah.
um let's see, past all that upriver from that. If you zoom in on that skinny little, what looks like a skinny little river,
Right
um,
here?
yep, even further north than that though.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, right in that stretch there is the port of Richmond, where cargo ships come up there
Wow.
with shipping containers and they offload.
Wow.
Yep. It's not
That's
quite
kind
that
of
far. It's a little like one movement south. Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, right in there somewhere.
well, that's
Um,
deep water there.
it's only at the deepest that's you're looking at 30 foot. It's mostly 20 something foot through there.
Well, and I was
It's a
talking
very
to
skinny channel.
one of the barge captains on one of his lives a couple weeks ago, and I was wondering that myself. I asked him. I said, "How deep does the water have to be for you to be able to go through? Right?
Right.
Whether it's next to a lock or you know off the channels and stuff like that. It has to be a minimum of 14 feet.
Yep. Yeah, I knew it
Yeah.
was about 15 somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Because there's parts of the James that that's what the channel is about 15 foot deep. So but yeah, right through there, it's not wide at all. So when a barge is coming up through there, you really have to get out of the way.
I was gonna say, what I know when I came up and fished, it was more, I guess, up closer to Richmond, right? So probably somewhere
Mhm.
right here. Where's the falls? Right here.
Yep. Yeah, right there. You'll
Yeah.
see all those roads crossing the James. So right there, that big one right there is 95,
Yeah.
and basically to the left of 95 is where like the fall line starts. So Lyle was asking as far as the downriver current fighting an incoming tide, so it like an area where it's basically no tide or whatever. It's almost always that one is more powerful than the other, so you get a little bit of current there. But there's the bridge next to 95 there.
This is 95, so the
Mhm.
14th Street.
Yes. So right there at 14th Street, you're not getting any further upriver than that.
Yeah, I believe
It's
that's where we
all rock.
fished. Well, as far as up as we fished.
Yeah. I mean, as far as, not on a regular, what we would use as a boat.
I find that tidal water very interesting
It
since
is
we don't have
fascinating.
it. Huh?
It is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, we don't have it, so anything I can find out about it just intrigues me that much more.
Well, I don't know a whole lot, but you're more than welcome to ask whatever you want to.
You've answered all the questions I had at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, up even right where you are right there, Chad. I think when you came here, you launched out of Ancaro's Landing right there in Richmond,
I
didn't you?
believe yes. This is where we
So
launched at,
so
and
just
this is where right here is where I caught the only fish that we caught that day. But
gotcha.
the river
So
was massively flowing hard.
I've seen tugboats come up that far before, and they because there's a luckstone, which is you know what luckstone is, right? Like they make they're a
Oh, I
big
guess so.
company that does like rock. It's a what am I trying to think? Like a quarry, you know. They move a lot of rock, gravel, and different things. They're really big down here.
Hmm.
But anyways, they ship a mining company is what I'm trying
Okay.
to think of. But their big thing is gravel and limestone and different things. But there's a quarry right there next to the river, just south of where you've got the map.
Okay.
And so you'll have tugboats that they'll bring empty barges, just like what you see on the Ohio River that they're filling corn with.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but they're filling it with rock.
I'll say yeah. We have all kinds of different barges like that
Yeah.
carrying coal or
Yep.
down from
So
Pennsylvania, West Virginia.
right. Well, they fill it with rock right in there, and so you'll get a tugboat come up the river with an empty barge, and they'll be filling up, and then another tugboat will come up, and they need to wait their turn or whatever, so they'll go up into Richmond and tie off, and the crew will get off and go eat at a restaurant while they wait.
That's
And
pretty neat.
the river is skinny there, so a
Yeah, I was gonna
tugboat,
say it wasn't very wide
yeah, so a
where we were.
tugboat coming through there is it's pretty interesting. But you
Hmm.
just stay off to the side. I mean, it's not, it's not like
Yeah.
they're going up a creek.
Yeah, I mean, I've always heard about the mighty James River, and now I'm thinking it's going to be like almost as mighty as the Ohio. But I got
Oh
up
my
there, and
God.
it was like the mighty Licking, and I was like, wow, okay,
Yeah, if you'd have gone downriver, definitely you'd have been like, holy smokes,
oh yeah, I definitely
But
have seen.
up in Richmond, it's like fishing a big creek almost, more or less. It's just tidal. It's weird. It's very weird. I see Parker's comment there.
Okay.
Does Austin believe with the blue cats being invasive to that area that it has made a negative impact on local species of fish and other aquatic life? Well, technically speaking, the blue cats are not invasive to the James River. They're just non-native. They were introduced by the state to increase the fishing um, industry. I think late 80s or whatever, or 70, late 70s maybe. But anyways, but the guys that fish for strictly stripers, white perch, all those native species that have been here for hundreds of years, they definitely call them invasive. Um,
Hmm.
but I do believe that it has changed the ecosystem. Um, Now, as a catfisherman that would rather go out there and catch a 70-pound catfish than a 2-pound white perch, I would. It's hard for me to say, but there you go. Dan says 1974. Um, but
That many years to me though, they're no longer
No.
yeah,
non-native.
it's
They're
not.
part of the
It's
ecosystem.
evened out, and that's what people. That's what
Yeah,
people like up in Maryland. I don't think a lot of them understand is like it'll all even out in a way. The catfish will find a place in the ecosystem, and everything else will find a place around it. That's kind of what nature does. Is it evens itself out? That's the whole point. Um,
unless it's Asian carp, there's
yeah,
no
unless
I,
it's
balancing
I
Asian
that
gotta
carp.
stuff.
tell
That
you though, if they put them in there, they can't call them invasive. If
No,
humans introduce them to that waterway, they're
correct.
not
It's
invasive.
the
They can use
term
that term all
invasive.
they want, but it doesn't hold water.
The term invasive is not really used correctly most of the time.
That's right.
People, I don't think a lot of people understand what they're really saying, and it's not that I'm not calling them stupid or anything. It's just people just
Right.
don't understand.
Now, Asian carp are invasive.
Yeah, they weren't introduced there, but that's the whole thing with Maryland, right? Is right, technically the catfish weren't introduced there. They came out of the James and they swam up the Chesapeake Bay, which it's amazing how well a blue catfish can live in certain salinities
That's right.
of water. But anyways, so they went up the river and they've gone into the other rivers that dump into the Chesapeake Bay.
They like to travel.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
They do like to travel.
And so up there, they're considered invasive, and that's a more legitimate use of the word up there than it is down here.
I agree, but they flourish out there for whatever reason.
Well, I'll tell you,
the James River and the Potomac both, those fish flourish, and I don't know what caused them. They don't eat enough of them blue crabs to cause any issues.
No,
they can talk that crap all they want. That ain't going to cut no weight with either. But there's something out there that makes them grow like they did.
Well, they've got
I'll tell you what it is. It's 3 pound 24-inch gizzard shad.
Yeah,
that's what's
crazy,
making these fish enormous, and it's the amount of sheer water. And I know I talked about a lot of the water being shallow, but it's still a lot of surface area for these catfish to go and feed. There's a lot of places for the fish to go and a lot of food for the fish to eat, and so it's a perfect place for the fish to grow.
When you also have the hickory shad runs, those fish that are you can call them hickory shad, whatever, but they're basically skipjack, real oily type fish. They're just coming up from saltwater versus what we have.
And they're edible.
I believe one of them is. I don't know about the other one.
The hickory shad is or the American shad. One of the two of them is edible. I don't know which one.
I think technically it's edible, but it's not something that I would necessarily bring home.
Yeah.
Now, flathead catfish are native, right?
Yes, flatheads and channels.
Okay. Well, channels,
I believe,
they're just everywhere.
Yeah, that's the American catfish in my opinion, because they are coast to coast, north to south.
Yeah. Well, I think the flatheads might have been introduced at some point too.
Really?
Yeah. But it was so long ago. It was before the blue cats.
I want to add to this question, but Freddie's, your favorite bait and your favorite rig, but also what's your favorite technique to fish?
Well, my favorite technique is to just anchor and relax as long as the fish are biting.
Ain't nothing wrong with the lazy man's way.
Yeah, but I think my favorite way to fish in order to have the best shot to catch fish is probably to drag. There's a lot of places where you can drag on the river, and I've been trying to find new places and branch out on the James, but there's plenty of that's disgusting.
That is.
Was J-Dog up there?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh,
or Art.
Yeah, he was. Oh God, that day he did it.
But yeah, I like dragging a lot. I like suspend. It depends on the time of year, though. I guess I mean, it's but dragon baits. When dragon baits is working, it's a really fun way to fish.
And three's asking what's the biggest thing you've learned from upriver opposed to downriver? Downriver, big water, scary water.
Yeah, downriver, big water. I mean, the tide has, that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned, how to fish the tide. Because that definitely doesn't happen upriver. But other than that, I don't know. I think, I used to fish spots because they looked like good spots or because I caught a fish there last time or whatever. But I think since I've been fishing downriver and a part of learning a river is like paying attention to my electronics more. So one thing I do a lot more now than I ever used to is I fish a spot when I mark fish. I don't just fish a spot because it looks fishy. So in that mindset, you'll learn a lot about the bottom of your river. You know, is when you're constantly looking for fish, you're constantly looking at the bottom of your river. You know,
Oh
so
yeah. Yeah. Scroll. I'm trying to get down here where the
What's that?
bottom was. I'm just trying to figure out where the bottom is here. I finally got here. All right. Oh Lord have mercy, Parker, get out of here. Oh man, that's a dirty question, but I'm going to ask it. I was told to ask, did Austin learn more from stand 2 or stand 3? What a bunch of.
I don't know if I can really answer that question.
I mean, obviously, you learned more by watching the Fields of the Water YouTube channel than
That is
either of
true.
them goons.
That is
What
true.
was that?
Saying.
But to be perfectly honest, when I first started fishing the lower James, you know, you got Dustin from Team Snag and Whiskers and Stan and Stan 3, and they all helped me build some confidence down there. You know, they showed me some spots that might be good, and they showed me where to go, where not to go. You know, as far as getting a lower unit stuck in the mud and different things like that. And a lot of different little tips. You know, I could go on and on. So I'm very thankful to all three of them.
Well,
They had a lot to do with some of my success down there. And
I definitely learned where not to go because when I pulled in and went to launch my boat, this stand hog came running out and jumped in my boat, and I kept trying to shoo them away, but they just would not get out of my boat.
yeah, I had a stand hog steal a championship belt from me one time.
Man,
Stand
I
hog.
know it. That video did pretty good though, so it's okay.
Which one of them two are more fun?
Are more fun?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't fished with either one in a while, to be perfectly honest with you. But I've only fished with stand 2 once, actually.
Was it memorable?
Oh yeah, it was memorable. We didn't catch a
Hey, it's
single fish. We didn't
probably
catch a
been a while.
single fish, but it was memorable.
There you go.
But
I'd say it's probably been a while because
it
it's
was
not.
it was
I
it
don't think
was
he's fished since
it was
before
funny.
Brian B.
It was funny. Stan just sat in the middle of the boat, and I said, "Don't move, don't move. It's a little. Just don't move. I'll do everything." And and man, we had a big plan to do like a catch and cook that night, and to do all this and that, and nothing was working. But we had a good time, you know.
Well,
And
when you have
then
fun,
the
that's all
couple
that matters.
times that I've been out with Stan 3, they've been fun times, man.
Oh, I bet.
They've been fun
I
times.
think they both would be a lot of fun to go fishing with.
Yeah, they are. You know, Stan 3, you know, big shout out to him. He showed me a couple areas that he didn't have to show me, you know, but he did. And then we went live one night a while back. It's on my channel somewhere, but I caught 3 PBs that night thanks to him. And I've kind of, you know, ever since that night I've tried to replicate and do that same stuff in different areas, you know, and so they have.
Well, what did you find in those areas though? That like the one where you had your 3 PBs. What did that area have or hold?
It had
What
a
was
lot
you
of
setting
fish
up
and a
on?
lot of bait.
Oh my
It was a shallow. See, I didn't. Okay, so one thing like on the upper James River is the difference between shallow and deep is like 5 foot, right? So, and dragging baits isn't a thing up there. You know, it's just so
Yeah.
rocky and shallow and different things. You know, you're just not. That's not really something that people do up there. It's not something that I would ever do. So that was another thing that I learned. And so fishing, the difference between shallow and deep now being, you know, double digits, you know, dozens of feet, you know. Right. So I was still kind of in the mentality that a lot of the fish would be deep, no matter what time of year it was, that there was always going to be at least some fish deep. And so I never really I didn't have the confidence to go very shallow because, well, for one, I didn't want to lose my lower unit and get stuck in the mud until 6 hours later when the high tide came in. But, so there, I guess to answer your question, it was a shallow place that I didn't know that I could even fish. And Stan 3 showed it to me. There was a ton of bait in there. It was very lively. And there was obviously a bunch of fish in there too. So, yeah.
That's some good information.
Oh yeah. Ever since then, I've taken more care to scan, like with side scan, and see what I can actually see in different areas. And it's not too shallow. If you think an area is too shallow, it's not too shallow. I promise you, it takes like no water to hide a catfish whatsoever.
Yeah, if you see a fin sticking up out of shallow water, say 8 or 9, 10 inches of water, and you better be fishing for that fish.
Yep, because they're in there to feed.
Throw a big chunk of bait out there.
Yeah, it's true.
It is. That's just the way it works. People don't understand. There's Brian B. And I noticed Benoit Fishing Outdoors has come in, and Sean T. and a whole lot of others.
Hey, guys.
Glad to see everybody join us. But yeah, I think that tidal water is very interesting to me. I think it'd be a lot of fun to fish. Not that I'd want to do it every day. I would, if I lived out there, I'd probably want to fish above Richmond, because it would be more like what we have here. Steady, one direction thing. But I think the tidal water would be fun to play around with.
Oh, it is. It is.
Figure out. Yeah. Maybe one day.
Well, you feel free to get on an airplane or get in the truck and come down here.
Well,
if I go out there, I'd be out there for several days, so I'll be bringing a boat.
There you go.
But I would happily get on the boat with you.
I would love that.
Chad and I have a plan to go to Brazil and jump on a houseboat and fish for redtails.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got the dates worked out on that yet, but at some point, that's in our.
Hey, I'm just waiting for you to say, "Hey, it's paid for. Let's go."
That would be so fun. I've always wanted to do that too.
Yeah, awesome. I have to get that Chad Fields money first.
Please.
You see how he did you, Lyle? He bought a house, not a houseboat.
I got to tell you though, it'd take Chad or somebody like that to be able to go with you, because you got to have somebody keep you out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
He's got.
Why would you take me?
Yeah.
He's got the real.
I mean, yes, I'm the innocent one of the group.
I really hope y'all film that whenever you do it.
Oh, absolutely.
We have to. I can't imagine how we would get away with just me and him. There'd have to be 10 of us that go all. I can't imagine there wouldn't be several that want to get in on that.
Probably.
It'd be expensive, but it'd be a trip of a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You'd never forget it.
Totally awesome.
Oh, I'm quite sure.
So I want to switch it up a little bit, because I mean, we could talk about the James forever, but that's not all Austin is, right? So I know you enjoy a lot of other stuff. You like going down to Kerr Lake, because hopefully in January, maybe you'll come in and actually give me some competition, unlike people like Catfish Chris. What's that guy's name? Oh, Freddie from FOA. People like that go down there and they can't compete with guys like me. But I do know you like to fish down there, and you do. And Lyle is going to just fall in love with you after this. But I have seen Austin fish ponds for bass and other little small creatures. So
why
would that interest me?
Lyle's like, oh my God, he is a god amongst men. He's a bass fisher.
And then there was 2.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I've caught a couple bass. I've caught a couple ditch pickles. I used to like it a lot, but then I grew up and I wanted to catch fish that were hard to hold up. So, but I've always catfished. It's just I didn't, when I was younger, I wasn't targeting monster catfish. It was just like what everybody else does when they're younger. But yeah, Kerr Lake, I love fishing Kerr Lake. I don't call it Kerr Lake, I call it Bugs Island. When you're from Virginia, you call it Bugs Island. When you're from the Carolinas, you call it Kerr Lake. I don't really know why, but that's how it works. But yeah, Bugs Island's a lot of fun. We go camping down there at least a couple times a year, and I would go more often, but I spend a lot of time still learning the James River. So
Yeah, I'd love to go to Kerr and Gaston way more often than I used to.
Are they as big as, say, Lake Ozark or Truman or something like that?
On the little part of the Ozarks that I was on, I personally believe Kerr's bigger. Gaston reminded me more of, and that's just on the one part I was on Gaston, of the part that we were on with you on the Ozarks with you, but it's hard. I haven't looked at them from a map how big they are,
Yeah.
but
I've just
they're really really big lakes. They're huge.
yeah, they are. They're all part of the Roanoke River system, which is a good river system to begin with. And
Yeah,
that stretch of river in between Kerr Lake and Gaston, like if you've ever seen what was it, John Boat River Cats or something.
Yep.
He had a channel and then he kind of fell off the face of the earth or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't
but
seen that out of him lately.
Yeah, he pulled a 90 something out of that stretch in between the two lakes, and I've never put a boat in there, but I've fished the bank there underneath the dam and I've caught some pretty good ones. But you got to be careful at that dam. I think it was the monster hunt 2 years ago that I was fishing, and we were camping there and I didn't have my boat with me. So I said, well, I'll just fish on the bank underneath the dam. And I called the number and I asked the lady, I said, do y'all plan on opening the gates and moving any water in the next 6 hours or whatever? And she told me no. And so I set up and everything. And like, I don't know, like 5 minutes into the live stream, they opened up like every gate.
Every gate.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just looked, I heard the horn and I said, you got to be kidding me. And I looked over and this wall of water was coming at me. And yeah, I think I lost my net. I was trying to rush and get everything off of the bank and I couldn't get to everything quick enough. But yeah, that sucked.
But I love fishing dams.
Yeah.
It's the biggest piece of structure in any body of water that I've ever been on.
You ain't ever been on a river with me.
You don't have a river over there. It's a creek.
I was just saying I'm the biggest structure when I'm on the river.
No. They always hold fish. Always hold fish.
There's a lot of good walleye fishing on that stretch of river too.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't know about, but a lot of really good walleyes come out of that stretch of river.
I would like for them to maintain the rules and stuff for everyone and make everybody abide by them around all them dams, because a lot of places they get away with things that you won't get away with around here. And I don't know if it's because the rivers are so hard to deal with or big, I don't know if that's the reason, or if there's been so many accidents around ours, because there's been a lot of boats that got shot through a dam here on the Mississippi, and a lot of people lost their lives. So when it says you got to be so many feet, and usually it's 600 away from that dam, if you're not, they come out across the top of that dam and make you move. If you don't move, they send you a ticket. They got your numbers off the side of the boat. The first one is a ticket. The second one, you lose your privileges for I forgot how many years and a bigger fine. And the third time, you lose your fishing privileges for life. So you don't want to get caught on next too close to there. And there's one of the bigger YouTube guys. He's not really a YouTube guy, but that fishes these dams, and he knows the lock master at one of them. And he goes right up in there. Nobody ever says nothing to him. And again, that's not fair to the rest of the fishing world. But if it wasn't the fact that he could fish that area and not get in trouble, he wouldn't catch the fish he does. You know, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that Kerr or Bugs Island Dam or whatever you want to call it. I think there's a rope that goes across above the dam. I mean, I guess you could get across the rope. It's not, but I think there's a rope that goes all the way across it. And I went all the way up to the rope, and before I had this boat, I had a 14-foot by 32-inch John boat, which is basically a glorified canoe. And I went all the way up that, and I think I marked 99 feet right there at that rope.
Dang.
And then, but then on below that dam, you're not really putting a boat in there either. There is a ramp, and I think it's used mostly by kayakers. But that stretch of river right below that dam is more or less. I mean, it's very shallow. It's like a wide stream almost. And then when they open up those gates, it just goes from like 2 feet of water to 14 foot of water. So if I don't know what you would even do if you were in a boat, like you probably wouldn't end well.
Hey,
So
Austin.
now, pardon me?
Oh, go ahead, Lyle.
Well, you interrupted me now. I don't remember what it was.
Come on, Lyle. Chris said that was an epic story. What story?
I think of the one you happened to get off that bank that quick. I don't know.
Yeah, that sucked.
I don't think that's the thing he's talking about, but we'll go with that. So how many years have you been fishing and making YouTube videos?
I've been making YouTube videos, I guess, around 3 years, a little less than 3 years, I think.
So here's the real question behind that. Did anybody help you get started doing this? Did you have any help learning how to edit videos, or did you learn all this YouTube stuff on your own?
Well, I kind of always wanted to make YouTube fishing videos, and then my beautiful wife, she bought me a GoPro for Christmas, I think, or for Christmas or my birthday, one of the two, I guess about 3 years ago now. And that's when I started actually filming. And then as far as editing, at first it was just me. Like I just kind of fumbled through it, and I guess that's been what it has been for the most part. I mean, I've watched some videos, and there's been other YouTubers or whatever, like, Dustin or Stan or, different people that are in the community. Once I got involved in the community, that I've gotten a couple pieces of information from, but for the most part, I've never really been taught how to edit. That was just me.
It's a little intimidating when you first start out.
Yeah. But then depending on how complicated you want to make the videos, it's pretty simple once you do a handful of them. Like if you watch my videos, they're just like straight cuts, and I try to make the cuts make sense. I try to zoom in and get rid of the uhs and ums and uhs and ums, because there's like 1,000 of them every time I go fishing. And then and then I throw in a little bit of music in there, and the music is just from the YouTube editor. It's not like I download, from a third party or anything.
Right. Do you spend a lot of time editing? Do you enjoy it? First of all, editing something you have to like to do to be really.
I don't mind editing.
You don't mind?
I don't mind editing. Especially if I went on a trip sorry. If I went
All
on a
right, go
trip
ahead.
and I actually caught fish, then I don't mind editing at all. But if I went on a trip and then I'm just trying to get a piece of content out there because I haven't put content out in a while and it's really not that great of a video, then I enjoy editing that video a lot less. But like this last video that I did, I thought there were some funny parts, but it ended up sucking. It was like my worst video ever. And I think I ended up losing 2 subscribers because of it. But,
Keith the fishing and stuff, he absolutely loves the editing part.
Oh yeah.
And I find it I just don't like to do it, but
I don't mind it. I think my wife doesn't like it very much, but I don't mind it.
She doesn't like it very much?
I don't know. I'll be sitting on the computer and she's talking to me and I'm not paying attention,
It can be fun. It can be interesting when you're doing it, and at the same time, it can be a totally frustrating process. But if you want to go back and learn a little bit about editing and stuff, we've had this guy called Fishin and stuff on. I taught him a lot of stuff about YouTube. We did a show with him a while back about all that kind of stuff and making better videos. Just saying. I taught him well. He still calls me for advice every once in a while. Oh, hold on. Hey Keith, I have to call you back. Thanks.
Oh.
That guy. Anyway.
Josh, where are you at?
Yeah, by the way, hope you're doing all right tonight, Josh.
Yeah. We're missing one
I miss you, bud.
Not feeling well.
Yeah, we're missing Lyle's favorite. So
I was hoping to see Josh. I was looking forward to actually talking to him tonight, and y'all scared him off.
He better be all right next week, because next week I will not be able to be here. I'll be in Chicago.
Next week we're having Goober Time Catfishing Guy Dan on with us.
Oh, thank God I'm off that week.
It'd be another fun show.
I like Dan.
Dan's a cool dude. Does a lot of stuff. I really like your videos, Austin. I watch them all when they come out. And there's a lot of guys that I watch a lot of their videos, and a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but sometimes I get bored with them. Yours are so laid back that almost anybody can relate to the way you're fishing, because you're not trying to be somebody you're not, and you're not doing things that you've heard about and don't know about. And if you did, you tell them about it. So they're a lot of fun for me to sit and watch and enjoy when I've got time to watch them. So I wish you the very best in making videos, because I think that you got a chance going and doing this for a long time to come, and you're in some really good, productive water.
Yep.
I haven't seen you catch a true giant.
No.
But I am the guy that would rather see somebody catch fish than just sit around and wait for one big one. That's tournament fishing for me.
Yeah.
But I just want to go out, and I want to see somebody go out and catch fish and tell me what he's doing to catch the fish. Not necessarily everything about it, but an idea if I'm fishing, or if you're fishing rocks or trees in the water, or if you're dragging or suspend drifting or something like that. That's the kind of stuff that makes it interesting to me, and you cover that very well.
Well, thank you. That means a lot, Lyle. And yeah, I do try to be, upfront and whatever I'm doing. I know that I'm not a professional angler. I know that I'm just out there, I'm just a weekend warrior or whatever that,
Yeah, you can't say you're a weekend angler. It's already taken.
Weekend warrior, Chad.
I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know, because you almost said I'm just a weekend angler.
I almost did.
And I'm like, the weekend angler.
I miss Josh. I miss Josh. What can I say?
Josh who?
Yeah. But thank you, Lyle. I do appreciate that.
Well,
I think it's cool how you can go back to my earlier videos and then you go to my newer ones and you can see, how I've learned and changed and different or whatever, how I've progressed in my fishing.
Yeah, I agree. And I've had people come and tell me and send me messages. Funny, right? They went back and watched from the very beginning of Catfish Weekly and watched every episode.
Yeah.
And I think if you knew about it, you would find people that do the same thing with you, because once you watch somebody very much, it's kind of like you become friends. And when something pops up on there, it's got your name on it, you instantly go to see what they're doing. And the
Yep.
best way to find out about that is go back and watch their old videos. Then you can compare them to what they're doing now, and you can say, "Well, look how this guy's improved." Would you not agree, Chad?
100% agree. I mean, not every. I mean, and I'd
Yep.
say in 99% of the cases, that is 110% true. Not there's only like a 1% out there that just starts out, you know, great at everything like I did. You know, at my
Jeez
level,
Louise.
it takes a special person to just do that. The rest, you definitely can
Yes.
see a progression in their editing skills, their angles, their sound, all that kind of stuff, right?
I knew I shouldn't have asked
There's
him.
definitely a lot of stuff that you can see improve there, though.
Do you use a certain type of video editing stuff?
So I use OpenShot. I
That's
was
what I
there
haven't heard.
was there was a couple other ones that I was using like Filmora and different things, but OpenShot is completely free and
Hmm.
it's very intuitive. So I like it the most. It's
Mhm.
it's more intuitive than the paid ones that I've used in the past. So
Very nice.
yeah, it's good. It's OpenShot, spelled just like it sounds.
Hmm.
I hadn't heard of that one, but there's new stuff coming out all the time.
Oh yeah. I don't
Uh,
know if it's been around. I don't know how long it's been around. I kind of just randomly. I think I Googled free video editing or whatever, and it was just one of the ones that popped up, and I like it. So
okay. Freddie wants you to tell us about your boat and gear and stuff you use.
okay, I use a uh, early '90s low Big John. It's a 16 by 52, and I just have a 9.9 Mercury on the back of it. Is all I've got. My rod rack is homemade out of Unistrut and Monster rod holders, and the trolling motor is just a little Minn Kota. Yeah. Oh yeah, Kota. Kota's. I'm her biggest fan too,
Yeah,
man.
at CatCon, she pushed me out of the way just to get to Austin and
That's
stand
cool, right
free.
there.
That was probably my highlight of CatCon right there. That really was one of the coolest things. I mean, seeing her, you could tell like that she was working up the courage to come talk to me by herself, like without Danny. And then and just to tell me she was so excited. She says, I gotta tell you, I watch all of your videos and you're one of the my top five favorite YouTubers.
Wow,
I was like, that is so cool, Coda. Thank you.
Code is
that
awesome.
is cool. Top
Yeah.
5. Wow.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Now, just think about that. There's millions of YouTube channels out there.
I
She's
know
a
it. That
kid.
is
She
true.
watches a lot of them. That's a pretty high spot on the
I,
old totem pole.
trust me, you don't have to tell me that meant a lot. It
Oh,
really did. Because she
correct.
was on a tournament of mine the September beforehand, and she caught her PB, and I was it was on my channel, and a lot of people got to see it, and it was one of the coolest things. That was one of the coolest things that's ever happened on one of my
I mean,
anything on my channel.
it is pretty cool. That's something else you and I have in common. I have also been told that I am people's top 5. I get it a lot, to be honest, and most of the time I'm in their top 5 of what they don't want to watch. So at least you got the other end of the spectrum there. So
Hey, Lance. Oh, man. Well,
yeah.
I don't have any more questions for you, Chad. What do you got for him?
Well,
Uh,
real quick, just to finish what Freddie asked me. So
Oh,
that's all the boat stuff. But of course, my gear, pretty much all comes from FOA Customs and Gear.com. And he knows that, which is why he asked that question. But I have all FOA rods on the boat, all FOA hooks, my floats, all the whole 9 yards. So and I have a code Fever10 for 10% off. Works just the same as Chad's code, except maybe a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably used more often. That's okay.
Yeah, I think it is. I wonder if it still is. Because remember, didn't Freddie put in the chat one time that
I'll say,
if you Google FOA Customs and Gear discount code, my code comes up and nobody else's.
that's shameful.
I don't know how that happened. I didn't pay for any of that.
Here's a statement. It's not really a question. Dan says, I'm new in the video part. It is hard getting the views. Well, Dan, you have to keep putting out the content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know guys that do twice a week. I know guys that do once a week. Some guys do once a month. If they're established, they do all right like that. If they're not, it's really hard. But the new guys that come on, and Dieter Melhorn told me this when we started Catfish Weekly 10 years ago. He said, you got to be on there all the time. If you're going to be a weekly show, you got to be there every week. And in the whole time we've been on it, I think we've missed 6.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but it's right around that number. So if you start putting video content out once a week, people will get used to seeing it that day, and they'll, if they're subscribers, it'll pop up and they'll watch it. If you're making it twice a week, like some of the guys that I follow are, and Chris, Fishing with Chris, he fishes for panfish and stuff in creeks and stuff. He also catches some catfish and stuff around some dams. He does twice a week.
I'm going to time Stan out.
Okay, but that's the key to it, is be consistent and be honest. If you don't catch no fish, put the video out anyhow. People will appreciate it because you're being honest with them. Everybody wants to catch a big fish. Everybody wants to catch lots of fish, but everybody don't have days like that. I don't care who they are. They don't all work out that way. But if you're supposed to have content out on Tuesday, have something out there for them. That's my advice.
And here's my advice to add on to that. Yeah, frequency can be a good thing. But if you're not improving on the quality of your content each and every time you put something out, you're going to continue to get the same exact results over and over. You're going to get the same set of people talking or watching your stuff, that 100 view type, or maybe a couple hundred views, but you're not going to see the growth that you want out of that.
Yeah.
You have to be able to improve different stuff. And again, I'll go back to the show that we had with Keith, and that's what we were discussing, right? Every video doing 1 or 2 things better. That's your goal every video, and you'll continue to hopefully grow that.
Yep. Yeah, I think my biggest the thing that's held me back the most is not being consistent with my content,
I think the number one thing is to be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else, somebody you're not. Just be who you are, and people are going to love you for what you are. And I just noticed that Mark with Bill of Rights Fishing has joined us in chat tonight. Good to see you in here, Mark. Haven't seen you in here in a while. So, can Austin stop telling the stands where to fish so they won't steal his spots?
That's funny. That's funny. That is funny.
Oh my God. I see you have a bunch of guys that don't mind climbing on you every once in a while when I get a show.
Yeah. Well, I do try to be myself in my videos, so I don't tell no lies in my videos. I don't, whatever I'm doing. If it works, it works. If it's not, I try to throw in something funny or something stupid or just something for y'all to see,
That's what you got to do.
It is what it is, So, but I think if I was in a position where I could put out a consistent video every Monday or whatever, I think I would see some growth. But sometimes
if you want to see growth, you don't need to do that. Just put out the same short over and over with the same sound over and over, and you'll get thousands and thousands of subscribers that will I guarantee you never come back and watch your stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well,
Just I'm
if
just
I was
being-
in a position in my life where I could consistently put out a good production video, then I would do it. But I got a
you're
lot of
working on
kids and I got a
everyday
lot of
job,
work to
right?
do. And
yeah.
yep,
You're working an everyday job, right?
I do.
Yeah. See, um,
You know, I only fish on the weekends. So man, and even some weekends I work overtime, right? And then some weekends I fish the tournaments with Dustin or whatever. And I can't go fishing twice a week. I go fishing once a week. That's at most.
right.
And my wife is a very gracious person to allow that. I've got
I
4
understand.
kids. She really doesn't have to let me go fishing once a week. I'm very thankful that she does, because she knows that, that's me. I get cabin fever pretty quick. So
I understand
for
that.
for my own health, I guess, but I mean, I do what I got to do, but you know what I mean.
Yep, I sure do. Oh, what the hell?
I'm on round 2, kettle 1. What?
I don't
What's
understand.
Brian?
You're gonna
I
have
saw
to
Freddie put in chat earlier when we were talking about Kerr that he'd like for me to message him or whatever about going down there and fishing the ice bowl. So it looks like you got some competition there, Chad. You wanted competition.
Hey, at least somebody could come down here and show him how to catch a fish and not come back with a story about the one that got away.
Didn't he?
Anyway,
I thought he caught one.
He caught one. I think he caught one. I think he weighed in like 15 pounds or something. Maybe it was, if it was over 10 pounds.
Well, how big was the one that you caught?
But the one that got away would have
Oh.
been a new world record.
Of course.
I think the one we weighed in was like 31.
Well, that's not a bad fish.
No, it's not a bad fish at all. It gave me a top 10%.
You can only bring in one, right? At the ice bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, it was good enough one fish for the top 10%, right? So
yeah,
not bad for my first try.
Did that put you in any kind of money or anything?
No. I think I finished 24th or something. Or
that's still not bad, man. Your first one, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, everybody.
I'd have been happy with that. I would have been happy with that.
Welcome to chat, Dawson. Glad to see you made it in.
Hey, buddy, squirrel.
Hey.
So, yeah, the one that got away, it hit so hard it spun his boat in circles, and then it splattered his line, and it freighted all the way up, and it shot him in the eye, and he had to go to the hospital. He missed like 3/4 of the tournament. He's full.
That's weird, because I think that same fish did the same thing to me at Kerr one time.
That's the one I'm looking for.
Yep. I did hook one at Kerr one time, and I don't know how much it weighed, but it was a lot. And it was definitely not a snag or anything like that. It was pull and drag pretty consistently.
I fished this over the weekend. Thank you very much.
Ryan did clarify that for me. Wish I was there helping him with it. And we'll leave it at that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
I'll show you later.
Oh, okay. I got you. Brian. I thought you said Ryan.
No, Brian.
I can't help it. You're from Missouri and can't enunciate.
Pardon me? What was that?
It's been a wonderful evening having.
It is.
What will you take that clown's comment off the freaking screen?
Which clown?
Mark.
Oh.
It's been a pleasure having you, Austin. I do enjoy talking to you and watching your stuff. I know a good person when I see them. I look at the bad ones like Lyle and Josh every week. So seeing a good guy like you and a good family man, and what you're doing with me, taking your wife out there and putting her on, PBs and tournaments too, awesome stuff. And I really do enjoy it. But I do need you to do one thing before you go for Lyle, and that's let him know when you're going to have another bass fishing video in to keep him interested in your channel.
I don't know. That's a good question. If Lyle wants a bass fishing video, I'll put one out. I'll put one
I
out.
really don't. They tease me if I go out and catch bass when I'm after bluegill, but I
Yep.
can't tell them not to get on there.
Yeah, that's about what happens to me too.
Yeah. And I got some new stuff that I'm anxious to try out, and I know for sure that it's going to get a couple. So it is what. But hey,
Yep,
those two they are what they are, and I just have to take it.
that's right.
It's what makes it fun. Austin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you on here. We all enjoy your videos and look forward to the next one. And don't be a stranger. If you come up with something you want to talk about, give one of us a holler and we'll get you back on here. And we'd
All
love
right.
to have you back.
All right.
That's
Well, thank
right.
you very much. The pleasure is all on this side of the table, fellas.
I don't know. I had a pretty good time tonight. Did you,
I
Ken?
had a
It was
great
an
time.
honor. It was an honor to be invited, and it was a good time to be up here. I've been looking forward to this invitation for a long time now. So
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. And we've been on here a little over an hour, so we're a little over what we normally do. But
Well, you can add 19 seconds to whatever the time is on this that we've actually been live.
yeah,
don't forget, folks, to tune in to Panfish Nation on Wednesday night at 7 and Chad and the boys at 7 on Thursday. Anything else, Chadwick?
Just so everybody knows, that's Central Time. It's 8 o'clock in God's time for
Yeah,
those days.
Central
Make
Time.
sure you do that. And before you go, please, if you would be so kind, to hit that thumbs up. We've had 60 to 70 people watching all night long. We're at 50 now. We only got 40 thumbs up. Come on.
come on, people.
It'd
Come
be
on.
nice just to
It's
have a couple more if you hit
I
that.
know,
free.
I know, I'm boring, but do it
It's
for
free. But it was a
Chad.
lot. But it was a lot
There
of
you-
good conversation, a lot of educational stuff, and
Randy
kind of
says,
getting us to
"You guys,
understand
thanks for filling
some
our
different
Monday
ways.
night." That's right.
That's right. Appreciate you all for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Well, Lyle and Josh will, because I'll be trying to duck for cover in the mean streets of Chicago. So
We'll be
wish me luck.
we'll be seeing everybody then. Thanks for watching.
Wish me luck.
All right.